Do you believe in ghosts?
I like to think of myself as a skeptic. So, short answer no. I've not personally experienced it. I'm not putting away other people's experience, but so far it's not been convincing enough for me.
I've heard so many stories from people that I've lived with that have had encounters with ghosts. Yeah, and if you're a Christian, for example, we've seen Saul go to talk to the ghost of Samuel to try to get directions about what's going to happen the next day.
I don't think it's a coincidence that all cultures all across the world, Asia, Africa, even here in Europe, have reverence for people that have left the earth. Maybe it's a psychological thing that because we feel the need for that closeness with them or we knew them, then we come up with all sorts of ways to still keep them with us, even though they're really gone.
But why does it feel like you guys want it to be real?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of Scatteryan where we discuss people and what they do. Hope you're having a beautiful and wonderful day. I'm your guy and the host that you love the most, Toves. In today's episode, we're tackling a question that has haunted humanity for centuries. Are ghosts real? And joining me to Scatteryan about whether ghosts are real or not are...
Hello, hello. My name is Ade, and my thoughts I'll be here to convey. We hope you have a spooky time with us today.
Hey, hi everyone. My name is Morris. Join us as we explore life in general. And I'll just say if you're not sure about what you like, then be sure of what you don't like. But we're going to explore.
Fantastic. You're definitely going to explore. We're going to be hunting down some of these ghost stories. First of all, there's some historical context and cultural context to whether ghosts are real or not. Simply because if you look at the from the ancient Egyptian text to Victorian England texts, there are so many stories of the dead returning back to life or part of human existence. So in ancient Egypt, they are literally like the Book of the Dead that contain spells that helps the dead to navigate the afterlife. In ancient Rome, there is a writer called Pliny that wrote about the haunted house in Athens, which is also one of the earliest documented ghost stories. Even in Japan, there's so many stories of the afterlife as well, spirits that are bound by strong emotions, which is known as yurei. Whereas in Western culture, there's something we hear often about poltergeist. There are a lot of movies about them. So my first question is, do you guys believe in ghosts? Let's start with Morris. What do you think? Do you believe in ghosts? Are they real?
I like to think of myself as a skeptic. So, short answer no. Long answer again, I like my belief to be grounded based on evidence or facts. And so far, I don't think I've had any convincing evidence about the existence of ghosts. I've not personally experienced it. I'm not basically putting away other people's experience, but so far it's not been convincing enough for me. So I would say no.
Fair enough. And are they?
Well, I'm not seeing a ghost myself, but I'm open to being convinced. Like, I don't see why they would not exist. It could happen. Who knows? Like, I'm definitely open to that fact. Yeah.
Right, fair enough. I believe that ghosts are real because I've heard so many stories from family members and from friends and from people that I've lived with that have had encounters with ghosts, either from people walking around the house or after people passing on, pressing the doorbell, things like that, or TV's just coming on by itself when everything was off just because someone has passed away. People having dreams and talking to their loved ones, etc. And if you're a person of faith, like Christian, for example, we've seen like Saul go to talk to the ghost of Samuel to try to get directions about what's going to happen the next day and things like that. So, and even as early as last December, I knew people that went to go see a medium, like in the area that we live, just to see if they can communicate to their loved ones and relative that has passed away. And it was so convincing. For example, a medium was saying how there is like a matchstick. She's seeing a matchstick in the middle of a train track. and nobody knew what they were talking about. The medium was talking about, and the person actually went home about 2 or 3 days later. She saw a picture on her own phone of her child playing with toy trains, and there was a matchstick in the middle of the train track. So how the medium would have known the picture that was taken, whether the medium was in the house, but obviously they are seeing it from the ghost side, like what the ghosts were seeing in the household. So I believe it, basically. Maurice, you're going to say something.
Yeah, just to touch on that point, I think people are quite clever, right?
Mm.
And I think the mediums, let me use air quote, the mediums are people that are quite intelligent and they've studied humans. This is how I see it, right? So they've studied humans, and one thing is certain, there is probabilities. And if you have a congregation or an audience of, let's say, I don't know, 100 people, even 20 people, right? And you put forward a story. Now, the human mind has a way of, I think it's called confirmation bias or something like that, whereby because you've seen something or you've heard something, then you start to see more of that often. So let's say last week, for example, I was expecting a delivery. It was supposed to be delivered by DHL. And all the while, right, since I've been living, I moved to a new area. Since I've been living there, I barely see DHL vans. It's not like DHL van don't pass often, but I've never really noticed it. But on that particular day, because I was expecting a delivery, guess what? I started to see lots of DHL van because the motorway is just behind where I live. And so whenever there's a DHL van passing, and I would notice it. So I was like, okay, is this van coming to deliver something to me? And so because I heard that, or because I had that expectation,
Mhm.
or because that DHL van code has been registered somewhat in my memory, I started to see more of that often. So chances are, same thing happened there where the train track, because it's very common for a lot of people to, get into a train, especially in our part of the world
Yeah,
where
but this
train
one, she's seeing a
is one
child.
of the
She's
most.
saying like the child was one playing with a train. It's not like a physical train; it was just a toy train. Where the child was playing, there was a matchstick in there. There's no way the medium would have known
My
that that is
okay,
what the ghost or the relative is seeing.
my my okay, my cousin loves train. Sorry, my not my cousin, my nephew,
Mhm.
right? Um, 3 years old. He loves train. And obviously there's some matchstick somewhere in the house, in his father's house. So there is every probability that upon hearing this story, when I go visit him next, I'm definitely going to see a train and a matchstick close to where he's playing. But that doesn't mean that the medium is that's maybe because I'm a skeptic. I would always find a way to give an explanation with an alternative point of view and not just go for just because someone said something. But again, this is me. But I guarantee you that whatever story we are going to be coming up with, I'm going to find an alternative explanation.
Fair enough. I
But
saw.
but
Okay.
let's go forward.
Okay. Now this happened to me about a month and a half ago. I was at work. I was walking up the stairs. Boop, 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 boop. I saw someone that looks like a former colleague of mine from like 2016. I said, "Oh wow, this person reminds me of X." And then I carried on with my day. The next day, I came up the same stairs, same flight of stairs, and behold, the person that was sitting just by the chairs of the stairs was this colleague of mine I hadn't seen since 2016. This happened this year. So the day before, I saw someone that looked like him, reminded me of him. I went my way. The very next day, I saw him there. I haven't seen him, spoken to him since 2016. Just there, waiting. This tripped me up for the rest of that week. Is it okay, it's coincidence, but why the very next day?
Mm.
Why did I see someone that looked like exactly like him? They, that was too freaky for me. I don't know if you have an explanation.
Okay, I have an explanation because
Okay.
almost the same exact thing happened to me less than a month ago. I was telling you guys before we started that a friend of mine that we did our masters together, I think sometime in 2013. Same thing happened now. I've not been on Facebook for a very long time, but for some strange reason, I went on Facebook that day and I was just going through some old pictures and I saw this guy's picture, right? So I saw the guy's picture and I was like, oh, we had some photos that we took in front of the campus. Then I went on with my day. Next day or 2 days later, I went to campus and then I saw this same guy. Apparently, he works at the same building as me and we just run into each other on the staircase. Now, again, there is, and now it now made me think that, and then when I reflected back, I had a feeling that I saw this guy somewhere, right? Because I saw somebody of his, someone that looked like him somehow. But it occurred to me that the week before that, I ran past him, but I didn't recognize him, right? And so what happens is, because my mind was trying to reconcile what had happened during the day, in the night, I started to go through some old pictures for some weird reasons. And that was why I saw his picture. And then the following couple of days, I then saw him on campus. And then we just reconnected, we spoke and all
All
whatnot.
right.
So it's very similar to the experience you had. So it's possible that you had already seen him. And maybe that's what clicked the chain of events. But I don't know.
This guy doesn't work in my building. He literally came for an appointment. So
Okay.
I think slightly different to yours. So I don't, these things.
Right. So
Anyway,
I'm guessing, Morris, you don't believe in like mediums and people being able to like talk to ghosts and all those kind of stuff, right?
Oh
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, oh no, definitely not. It's just like those what was it, these star signs and what's that thing called?
Astrology.
I never really understand it. Yeah, I used to date someone that pretty much their life revolved around star signs. So they would get like lot every morning to say, certain things. I've forgotten the specific, but it's basically you're going to your day is going to go well. They'll give you a few things and stuff like that
Mhm.
based on their star sign. And you say, oh yes, this thing resonates with me very well. Like, and then I will look at the same statement and I'll be like, this also resonates with me, and we were born on separate months. So pretty much a lot of people, I would say, a vast majority of people can easily resonate with a lot of these things that are put forward. So most of those mediums, they just, I think, um, possibly say things that would easily, because we humans, we have shared experiences, we have a lot in common than we think. So possibly it's easy to just plus its probability. We are focusing on the one that actually works out well. How about the thousands and millions that
Yeah, I
don't?
want to focus.
So it's just
I want to focus on the ones that work out
yeah, I
well.
think
So because
okay.
there's
All
this
right.
there's this news on the Mirror UK that I saw on the Mirror UK about a woman whose husband was a medium, right? His job is telling people about like their dead relative and stuff. But the reason why this was making the news is because the woman's husband told her that he sees her relative in the house that they live. So sometimes they'll sit with them together on the sofa. Sometimes he can even feel the loved one's arm around the woman's body and things like that. So do you think it's just making the thing up to scare the wife, or is something that can happen? Because personally, I believe the story because I believe in ghosts. I believe they are real. So I think that happened. But what's your take on that, Morris?
yeah.
Okay, no, you go ahead.
Okay. Oh, well, we are not there, so we can't prove it. But I said earlier, I won't doubt it. You know, epistemology and all that tells me I need evidence before I can, prove. But in things like this, what evidence can you find except I go and lodge in I think they are from Wales. Except I go to Wales and go and experience it myself.
Mhm.
You just have to take his word for it.
All right.
I'd say.
Yeah, one thing is for it's possible that he actually believes his story or he actually believes he's seen a ghost. So I would not take that away from him, right? So
Mm.
because one thing is just like me telling you that, oh wow, there's I can literally see a ghost right now in front of me and I will describe everything. And that may or may not be the case. But I think if you believe it personally, then it gives it a lot more conviction. So if he actually believes he can see ghosts, I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of kids. I think growing up, a lot of kids, we had that phase where I don't know about you guys, where you speak to someone imaginary, like imaginary friends and stuff like that. So
I
um,
didn't.
I don't know, but well, I know a lot of people did, right? And some people
Mm.
probably never outgrew that. So, so I don't know.
Oh. Right. So now my question then is how come some cultures celebrate like dead relative and ghosts? Because like literally in Mexico, they have a cultural festival for the Day of the Dead where they honor the dead among them because they believe that they're coming back to like see them and have fellowship and communion with them, that kind of thing. We also seen situations like in Asia, like somewhere in Indonesia, Thailand, where they don't even bury their dead because they believe that their spirit is still alive. So why bury their physical body if their ghost is still there? So what do you say about that? All this kind of cultural perspective on ghosts. Yes, personally you don't believe it, no problem. What about cultures that have those inclinations and you know affinity towards loved ones that have passed away?
Even Asia is too far. In Edo State, they bury, or some parts of Edo State,
Please, where's Edo State for those that are not
sorry, Edo State, Nigeria,
from?
right?
Okay.
They bury their loved ones in the living room. So imagine the
Mm,
living room where you live. They would bury the maybe the head of the family there, right there. In
yeah.
some parts of eastern Nigeria, they would bury the person in front of their house. So literally, my grandfather is buried in front of our family home in the village. So
Yeah, even
so was
Delta State as well. Some Urhobo culture, they're buried in their bedroom.
so I
So yeah,
think it's lovely. I think it's a welcome gesture in the sense that it's a constant reminder that this person was once here and you can always, go back. I more than welcome that. But whether or not they the relative actually I don't know whether they actually come around because I remember when I was growing up, I remember one time that my late uncle, before he died, his wife passed on some years earlier. And during the burial, I went for the burial ceremony, and then the corpse was laid in the room right next to where I slept that night. So I could remember because I was still very young. I couldn't sleep. And then eventually, when I slept, I saw the woman. It was like she was talking to me and stuff like that. And then the next day, I came out, told everybody what happened. And then my uncle said that I shouldn't worry, that it's probably just me trying to remember her and stuff like that. I can't really remember exactly what happened, but I remember seeing her at night, whether it was a dreamlike state or whatever it was. But I don't know. But does that mean she was actually there? I don't know. I doubt. So
I would say yes, she was there, but no problem. Ade, what do you think about like the cultural perspective? Different culture believing in dead relatives coming around and trying to keep them company and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that all cultures all across the world, you said Asia, Africa, even here in Europe, they have reverence for people that you know have left the earth, and maybe it's a psychological thing that because we feel the need for that closeness with them or we knew them, then we come up with all sorts of ways to still keep them with us even though they are really gone. So a scientist might say, well, they were just blood and bones and some chemicals. They're gone. It's over. But because we have that social attachment, we then start coming up with festivals and rituals and burial rites and all that. So who knows?
Fair enough. And do
Who
do
knows?
you think that if you believe in the supernatural, you're more likely to believe in ghosts? So if you don't believe in the supernatural, then maybe you might not believe that there's something on the other side in the afterlife and stuff like that. Do you think that has a role to play in people's acceptance of whether ghosts are real or not?
Like, okay, I would say yes. Obviously, I mean, now, I like that it says supernatural because that could mean a lot of things. So some people will say, I believe in spirits, but I don't believe in religion. I believe in God, but not religion.
Mhm.
So I was raised up in in a Christian household. So by definition, that means I believe in the supernatural because the central person in Christianity apparently died and rose up from the dead. Celebrate it, the biggest celebration in the
Yeah,
religion. So, that, I mean, that's that.
fair enough. And Morris?
I think yeah, it definitely has a role to play. If you oh, is it or not? Maybe not, right? Because I think it depends on the story. Take for example, I think it's Scientology, one of the well, it's a religion, right? I don't know if it's a religion, but let's just categorize it as a religion. So, uh, and the founder of the religion had a driver's license. So basically, let's just say that Jesus had a driver's license. So it's easier for us not to take that serious because it's very recent and you're like, oh no. But I think maybe what then
But
happened?
they don't believe in the supernatural. Scientology believes in science, facts, things they can see. They don't
I don't
believe
know if
in.
it's Scientology or if I'm getting something mixed up, but I shall know that there's one religious movement that their founder, no, maybe not Scientology, I don't know, I'm just talking rubbish at this point. But yeah, he was alive
Yeah.
like recently.
Right. So, Maurice, since you
Okay.
don't believe in ghosts or none of these supernatural things, and it might be coincidence, I mean, just be in their mind. So, would you rather be able to communicate with ghosts or be completely immune to any ghostly experiences? Bearing in mind, you don't believe in it. So, would you rather be able to communicate with ghosts or be completely immune to any ghostly experiences?
Because I don't believe in it, I don't think I would have that. I like to say I'm open, but somehow I just know that I would not have that experience that can really affect me. Maybe because I don't believe in it. So I would go for the first one, which is have that ability to actually communicate, if I can, with them to see, maybe ask a few questions as to, you know, because the very first question I would ask is, where are you? What can you see? Because we hear the whole thing of life after death. Because if we're saying that, I think the story of when we think about ghost itself, living in the present, that is basically, in my opinion, saying most religion, including Christianity, is doesn't it's incorrect. So if you're saying, because that goes contrary to, I don't know what the Bible says on that, because you die and you rest until the judgment day. So why would there be an exception? So I don't know if it's, I really do not know. But at the same time, the Bible talks about evil spirit, and so I quite confusing.
Like I
So
said, the ghost of Samuel. So, there we go.
yeah, yeah, a lot of things don't add up to me. So maybe that's why I'm very skeptical about it, because I like to. How can we actually measure it? How can we know if there's a ghost present? Let's put it that way.
Well, that's why I say, would you rather? So, Ade, what about you? What
Yeah.
would you rather be able to do?
What's the option? Talk with ghosts or
Be immune.
just be totally
Yes.
immune, blank. Mine is conditional. If the ghosts have some information they can offer me, then yeah, let's have a discussion. But if not, then they might as well just not use it. I mean, I've not encountered one so far, and I think I like my life that way. Except, like I say, if they really have something useful for me, then it's fine. But I'd rather hear from a different source than a ghost. So.
Fair. I will, yeah,
Immunity.
I would also be immune as well because yeah, I believe in it. I don't want to communicate. I don't want to talk to them. So I would rather stay immune from all the experiences. I would also think that I've experienced some ghosts around as well, but
But
I'm not going to go into that detail
but this
today. Yes,
but this is
Morris.
my question. When it's just like when I think humans in general, we are quite funny the way we think about certain things.
Mhm.
When you hear of the word, when we think about aliens, for example, if you watch all the alien movies, predominantly I'll say over 90% of them talks about alien coming over to take over the earth, destroy us, maybe they're out for our water, to control us and stuff like that. Same thing, quite similar when it comes to this case where you talk about ghosts and being immune from them. That gives an impression that they could affect you in some way, and it feels like we are projecting something negative towards ghosts if they actually exist. So why if uh,
I don't want any positive or negative. They should stay away from me. It's all I'm just trying to say. Whether they're positive or not, I just
uh,
want to be immune, basically. And also, would you rather? Okay, I'll start with Maurice again. Would you rather have the ability to debunk ghost stories, or be the one to prove that ghosts are real?
so I can't really think of any instances whereby ghost stories. Well, there could be a lot where ghost stories actually help. Sorry to say, yeah, because maybe it gives the family closures and stuff like that, right? Which is cool. So, but I think I would like to debunk, debunk because that's yeah, debunk definitely because I've been trying to debunk all the ghost stories so far. So why would I do something different? So.
All right, because you're going debunk, I will go that they should be. I'll prove that they are real to you.
And I would
I'm guessing Ade
debunk
agrees
that
with that
that
as well.
proof. They'll say that it's not real. So, but yeah,
I will also prove that they are real, just to put Morris out of a job.
like,
Um, yeah.
but why does it feel like It's like you guys want it to be real.
Oh, I think it's real. That's why it's different. I don't want it to be real. I think it's real.
Okay,
But you think you
Yeah.
don't want it to be real. Yeah, let me use your own language too.
because I'm trying to think about ways where it can actually affect humanity as large, and I don't know if I
No, it
don't know.
doesn't really have to affect anyone at large. It's just I just think they're around to,
No, they
keep people
should they
company.
should just go. I think
They've not
they've
rested
their.
in peace, so they're
No,
just hanging around.
I think they've served their time, and so just let the living be.
Oh, okay, right. Based on that
No,
answer,
no.
would you rather experience a ghost sighting in broad daylight or hear ghostly whispers in the dead of the night?
Let me see it in broad daylight, please. Let me see it live and direct in broad daylight. At least broad daylight, there will be other people around.
Mm,
You won't die of a heart attack on the spot.
yeah.
So,
I mean, night is always associated with, scary, plus it's dark.
But you don't believe in it, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
but,
night should be good.
yeah, but I know, but I'm just
mhm.
trying to go opposite way this time. But the normal me would say, might as well just have it the hard way if it's true. So experience the terror and the horror. Uh, but yeah, but I think broad daylight might make it easier on my heart rate. So
All right, I'll just do two more and then we'll round up for this episode. Would you rather spend a night in a haunted house or explore an abandoned asylum with a history of ghost sightings?
Abandoned asylum. I'm not doing anything wild at night. Abandoned asylum with a massive entourage of, other people.
that house doesn't have to be at night. It could be during the day. So I think it's quite fun. I've gone to haunted houses before, so it's quite fun. I mean, the adrenaline, the thrill of
But
something.
to spend the night though.
Spending
It
the
says
night
spend the
there.
night. Night space has changed.
Yeah, I mean, because I know it's not real, because I know I will not actually see a ghost, it should be fine. I mean, there might be
Hmm.
some scary things, but that doesn't mean would always be an explanation for those scary things. I'm not giving those no credit here. So maybe the architects
Yeah.
of the house designed something, or there's some electromagnetic force affecting something, and all of a sudden that causes the windows in that particular place to vibrate or something. There is always an explanation. That's what I have to say. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I would do the like Ade as well. I will stay in the middle of people and do ghost sighting. And then the final one for today, I'll start with Ade for this one. Would you rather have ghosts leave you messages via your phone or through dreams? So ghosts, not just one, ghosts leave you message via your, or like through your phone or through dreams.
Please let them text me. I can put it on do not disturb. Let them send me a WhatsApp.
Mm,
My sleep time is my peace time. Text me.
fair enough.
Y-
And then
The
Morris.
thing is, if I get that text, I would not believe it's from a ghost. That's the problem. So I'd rather have it in a dream, because that way, otherwise, I'll say, who is this person sending me text messages and stuff? So I would definitely feel like there's someone playing a prank on me somewhere, or some stalker or something. But definitely not. I don't think I would give credit to any ghost here. So I'll say, come to me in the dream. At least I know I can wake up anytime I want. So
Mm. Fair enough. I don't want, please, I want to sleep properly. I don't want, I don't
same.
want anyone coming to me in my dream. I want to,
Uh,
yeah, leave the messages so that I can block the number.
mm,
Fair enough. And yes, listeners, we would like to hear from you as well. Do you have any ghost story to share, or do you have any theory on what ghosts might be? Please reach out on our social
yeah,
media,
please
which you can find
convince
in
me.
the
Yeah,
description
I'm
below.
trying to be convinced. I'm skeptic, but if I can get like some concrete proof, not hearsay, not yeah, I would like to be convinced otherwise.
Yes, yes. So please leave that in the comment section below. Leave on our social media. Please remember to like the video as well. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you very much to Ade and thank you to Maurice for sharing their thoughts with us today as well. It's been a good one. And until the next episode, people, hope you enjoy yourself and use your brain.
Use
SCFR.
your brain.